Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there was a sparkling pond nestled between tall trees and blooming flowers. The pond was known far and wide for its clear water, its serene surface, and the peaceful sounds of nature. But what made this pond extra special was the three little frogs who lived near its edge: Freddie, Lily, and Hopper. These three frogs had been best friends ever since they hatched from their tiny eggs, and together, they spent their days hopping around, playing in the water, and basking in the warm sun. Although they were inseparable, each frog was very different from the others. Freddie was small and quick, with a bright green body and large, curious eyes. Lily was graceful and elegant, with a shiny coat of soft blue-green. Hopper, the tallest of the three, was bold and adventurous, with powerful legs and a loud, rib-biting laugh. Despite their differences, they shared one thing in common: they were all full of energy and loved to explore every inch of their beautiful pond. One sunny afternoon, the frogs were playing near the water when they saw something strange. On the other side of the pond, a new group of frogs had arrived. They were bigger and had more vibrant colors, and they seemed to carry themselves with great pride. The new frogs leapt from lily pad to lily pad with impressive jumps, making everyone in the pond watch in awe. Their energy and confidence were contagious, and soon, the little frogs couldn't help but feel a little unsure of themselves. "I wish I could jump as high as them," said Freddie, staring across the pond at the new frogs. "Look at their strong legs. They're so much better at leaping than I am." Lily sighed. "And their skin is so bright and shiny. I could never be that beautiful. They look perfect." Hopper, who was known for his bravery, tried to cheer them up. "But we have our own strengths. We may not jump as high, but we're fast, and we're strong in our own way. Let's not worry about them." But deep down, even Hopper was starting to feel self-conscious. He noticed how graceful the new frogs seemed and started to wonder if he was too loud or too clumsy. The next day, the frogs went to the pond's edge, determined to practice their skills. They had all seen the new frogs perform extraordinary leaps, and they wanted to show everyone that they, too, were capable of great things. They lined up at the water's edge, ready to jump as far as they could. Freddie went first. With all his might, he leaped high into the air. He soared for a moment before landing with a little splash. The jump wasn't as high as the new frogs, and Freddie felt embarrassed. "Maybe I'm just not good enough," he thought as he watched the others. Next was Lily. She took a deep breath, gracefully leaping from one lily pad to another. Her jump was elegant, but not as swift as the new frog's hops. She landed softly but felt a wave of disappointment. "I wish I could be as perfect as they are," she murmured, looking at her reflection in the water. Hopper was last. He built up his energy, took a giant leap, and soared through the air with all his might. He made a big splash when he landed, his landing not as smooth as the others. That wasn't very impressive, he thought, feeling a pang of self-doubt. The frogs sat quietly by the water, watching the new frogs as they performed their flawless leaps and playful flips. They couldn't help but feel like they were falling short, like they didn't measure up. It was at that moment that Old Frogger, the wise and gentle elder of the pond, hopped over to them. Old Frogger had seen many seasons come and go and knew that sometimes, even the happiest frogs could get caught up in comparing themselves to others. "Why do you look so sad, my little friends?" he asked in his deep, soothing voice. Freddie sighed. "The new frogs are so amazing. We can't jump like them. They're better than us." Lily nodded. "And they're so beautiful and perfect. I don't know why we can't be like them." Old Frogger smiled kindly and sat down beside them. "Ah, I see," he said. "But let me tell you a story." The three frogs looked up at him, curious. "Long ago," Old Frogger began, "there was a young frog just like you who lived in this very pond. She was small, just like Freddie, and her leaps were not as impressive as the others. She was worried, just as you are now. But one day, she realized something important. She didn't need to jump like the other frogs to be special. She needed to find what made her unique." The frogs listened intently. She spent time exploring the pond, diving into the water and swimming with all her might. She learned how to catch the biggest and most delicious bugs. She wasn't the best jumper, but she was the fastest swimmer. And because of that, she became known as one of the best hunters in the pond. Her uniqueness made her strong. Old Frogger looked at each of them. "The lesson is this: every frog has their own strengths. Freddie, you may not leap as high, but you're quick and clever. Lily, you may not be the loudest or the brightest, but you carry grace wherever you go. Hopper, your strength and energy are unmatched. Each of you is special in your own way, and comparing yourselves to others only steals away your own magic. The frogs sat quietly, thinking about old Frogger's words. Slowly, a smile began to spread across their faces. You know, Freddie said, I might not be the best at jumping, but I'm pretty good at sneaking up on bugs. I'm fast and smart. Lily nodded. And I might not be as strong as the new frogs, but I love to swim. I can dive deeper than anyone else, and I feel peaceful in the water. Hopper grinned. I may not be the most graceful, but I can jump farther than anyone in the pond when I put my heart into it. And I love going on adventures. Old Frogger chuckled. Exactly. The world doesn't need another version of the new frogs. It needs you to be exactly who you are. The beauty of the pond lies in its diversity, in the unique strengths and qualities that each of you bring. From that day on, the three frogs learned to appreciate their own talents. They didn't compare themselves to others, and they began to feel proud of who they were. They spent their days exploring, playing, and helping each other grow.